everybody. Welcome to the Williams Today Show. I'm your host, William Prue with Real Estate One.
And I'm Vienna Olachowski with Real Estate One. Finally back to join after two long, sad episodes.
Very, very sad weeks. Although I did really enjoy my interview with AJ. I wish you were there for it.
I know. It was a really good video. I'm bummed out about it.
Yeah, he was a great person to have on. And actually, I really want to start having more people on the show.
Yes.
But you'll be there to help me interview.
Yeah, right.
You always have great questions. So, but yes, we're happy to have Hannah back. I have better energy. I'm glad to have my business partner back on the set with me. So, whoop, whoop, whoop. And you can't leave again. Can't do it no more. No more of that. Okay? All right. You just have to clear that up. I honestly felt really sad, like Rose sitting on that door that could have fit Jack, letting him freeze in the water. So, you know, it's just one of those really sad moments. Sorry that I'm referencing Titanic. I watched it, and it's such a long movie, it's kind of hard to get out of your brain. It like takes up your mind for like 3 days straight. And it's a 10-hour movie.
I know.
It's a great movie.
Insane.
What are we talking about right
tapes. I don't know.
But you guys already know the rules. Positive impact, one day at a time, and we are
Crickety Coconut cracking the code.
Cracking the code. And on this week, we are cracking the code to seller concessions or seller credits, more commonly known as concessions.
Yes.
But keep that in mind, it is a seller credit.
Right.
So really easy, really simple stuff here. We had a buyer ask about it, so we said let's focus on that on our next video. So let's crack down on it. So number one, seller concessions is it's pretty simple, right? So you have a purchase price that you offer, and the buyer needs help on getting the down payment and closing costs covered, right? They need help so they can afford it and ultimately close.
Right.
So they ask the seller for some credit. Help me out here. And basically money comes off of the net proceeds the seller would walk away from.
Right.
So you have down payment, which you have to pay.
Yes.
It does not get cut into that.
Cannot be touched.
Down payment is the percentage you have to pay on this loan, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have your closing costs. Your closing costs are
totally different from your down payment.
right. It's what makes the loan happen. It's the recording fees. It's the appraisal. It's the appraisal fees.
Right.
It's the
property taxes.
Taxes.
You know, it could be attorney fees. There's a lot of things that go into obtaining a loan.
Yes, and that is the difference between down payment and closing costs.
Right.
So when a seller says yes, I'll give you some concessions, whatever that may be, and there is a percentage limit on each loan type, it cuts into the closing costs. It'll never take care of all of the closing costs, but it can make the seller's wallet a little bit less tight, right? It can help them out a little bit.
Yes.
In this market, it's not really feasible. It's not something that I haven't seen one since this craziness has started.
Yes, I know.
In fact, sellers have been getting above their asking price. So if anything, instead of taking away from their proceeds, they're gaining from their proceeds at the closing table. So, but it is something that I think as the market continues to cool, that we come back into reality and we start settling a little bit. We come out of cuckoo land and we get the healthy economy, housing market that we need. That we might start seeing concessions again. Yes. So it's a perfect opportunity to talk about it.
Hope you guys understand that. Absolutely.
So the one thing I want you guys to take away from this video is that you cannot have any type of credit taken away from the down payment. That is your minimal investment you have to make on your loan. You have to come out of pocket whatever that percentage is for your down payment. Closing costs can be eaten at a little bit. I don't know why I feel the need to explain it like that. I feel like I'm more a hands-on person, obviously. But yes, it eats away at the closing costs and it can be very beneficial. So different loan types and the percentage of concessions that you can have on the purchase price. That's what we'll talk about that next. Right. So with any investment type loans, okay, I think the max you can go is 2% in concessions. Government-sponsored loans, VA, FHA, the highest you can go, I believe, is 6%. Right. So again, their goal is government-sponsored loan. They want to help the buyer, so you can go a little bit higher in concessions. Now with conventional, I think the highest you can go is 3% in concessions, depending on how much you put down.
Yes.
The higher you go with your down payment. And again, it depends. This is why you need to talk to your lender, talk to your realtor, and see if the numbers make sense.
Right, and if they're feasible.
Feasible. The word of the day is feasible.
I know, apparently.
I opened up a dictionary earlier, put my glasses on, and I'm getting better with my bigger words. Feasible. Thank you for throwing me off there. Appreciate
Sorry. But,
So,
yes, as you were saying, the conventional loans, the higher that you put your down payment as, like say instead of 3%, you go up to like 5 or 6%.
right.
The higher that you can go with seller's concession as
Yes,
percentage.
yeah,
So you
and again, it's depending on your lender. If they have to make it, you know, you don't just assume running in. Always double check before you make an
Yes,
offer
yes.
with a specific amount of concessions, and talk to your realtor. They'll be able to help, help guide and advise you properly,
Right.
and they'll actually reach out to your mortgage lender as well to make sure that that's okay. The next thing I want to talk about is discount points. Now, I didn't really want to stress this too much on this episode because it's not very common that people do this. But it can be beneficial to a buyer. It can be very beneficial to your interest rate.
Yes.
So
Which is very important.
let's say that your credit score isn't the best. So, the lower your credit score, the more your interest rate's going to be a little bit higher.
Right.
Because you're kind of a higher risk at that point.
Yes.
So you could take those concessions from a seller if they agree to do it, and you can pay some discount points, ultimately lowering that interest rate just a little bit.
Right. Which
Right?
will save you
a lot of
yes.
money over the term of the loan. That's another way to look into it. So instead of taking money off the closing costs, pay some towards the discount points. That way, ultimately, at the end of the loan, you're paying less in interest. That's my big bamboozle with all my buyers.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're gonna spend some more money at the closing table. But if you think about it, for a 30-year term loan, if you knock off some interest now, you're saving
much.
this much, and I'll break down the numbers
giving
for
me
you.
flashbacks to another episode where we were
Yes.
stressing that interest rates are so important.
Interest rates are extremely important, and I'm sticking to that now. I wish I would have been talking about this a lot sooner, but shop on interest rates. Don't shop on the housing market prices, because those will fluctuate.
Right.
The big thing is those crazy interest rates that we see come and go from the market.
Yes.
And we can gauge those a lot better than where the housing market and price is going to go.
Right, exactly.
But we're getting off topic here,
know.
guys. I really wanted to just explain concessions. If you have any questions about concessions at all whatsoever, please reach out to us, and we'd love to help you.
Or when
This
you guys
is-
are working with us, we will absolutely explain it very well detailed.
That's what we'll do. The thing is we can talk and talk and talk, and people will end up like losing their focus. I do the same thing now. So this is why we make these episodes too. That way I can say,
Go back.
you can take us in stride, right? You can decide to say, okay, pause. Don't have to be rude. I'll come back to you in a little bit. But yeah, guys, that's all we got. As always, it costs $0, 0 cents to be a decent human being. Be nice, be kind. We'll see you guys on the next
Episode.
episode.